Thank you for coming to our Kenyon College Writing Center workshop on overcoming writer's block. This is just a brief video giving you a couple ideas on how you can address your writer's block. So first, you need to know what writer's block is, right? It's a common term, we use it a lot, but do we actually understand what it means? It's the condition of being unable to think of what to write or how to proceed with writing. And I think that's really important because it's not just about what it is to write or how we're feeling stuck in that way, but it's also the feeling of not being sure how to proceed. So it can be anything from just not understanding what your assignment's asking you to do, being confused about the directions your professor gave you in class versus what you're reading in your prompt or rubric, or being stuck on where to go from the prompt to creating a paper. So, how do you get writer's block? Well, it can happen in a couple ways. First is procrastination. Putting off a writing assignment can make it much harder to complete the work, creating stress and making it difficult for you to write, which is sort of a cyclical problem, right? The more stressed you are, the more difficult it is to write, the more difficult it is to write, the further stressed you are. It also can be due to a process error. When you try to edit and write at the same time, you confuse your brain, which uses different pathways to write than to edit, and that can create writer's block. But don't worry, you can fix it. Start sooner, write more often, and then edit. Taking breaks between drafts can also help. So we're going to give you 5 suggestions on how to fix it, and then I'll break each one down in more detail. First, practice time management. Second, avoid writing and editing simultaneously. 3, try one of our methods for breaking the block. 4, visit a writing center tutor. And 5, go to your professor's office hours. So first, practice time management. I'm going to move myself so you can see this whole slide now. Keep track of what is due and when it is due. Put reminders a week in advance so nothing sneaks up on you. Write, research, or edit a bit each day. This way, you'll have a complete assignment by the time it's due. Use a planner to track what you did each day. This information will help motivate you to keep going and to feel confident in your progress, which is really important in the writing process. And leave time for breaks and fun so you don't burn out. You cannot write, edit, or research 24/7. You need to take breaks. And breaks are real things away from doing something academic. I'm not talking about eating, using the restroom, or sleeping. Those are bodily necessities. I'm talking about real breaks where you watch a show, call a friend, go for a walk with somebody, do something fun. I also just want to define what time management is because time management now, while you're in college, will set you up really well for your work life in the future. Time management is the ability to use one's time effectively or productively, especially at work. Once you've got your time management down, you can think about avoiding writing and editing simultaneously. When you try to edit as you go, you often create writer's block because you're making your brain do too many things at once. So instead, try some of our suggestions. First, and I do this one a lot, turn off all corrective grammar and spell checks until you're done typing your draft. Then you can run spell check. But when you see those lines, you have to go back and edit. It's just how our brains work. So if you turn it off so you don't see those red and blue squiggly lines, then you're not distracted by them and you can keep writing. You can also try writing by hand or using diction software like talk to text. This eliminates some of the confusion and some of the underlining distractions because you're not seeing them. And then when you go to type them in real time, you're editing already, so that's kind of cool. Take breaks between finishing your writing on a draft and your revision of it. This method lets your materials settle and gives you a fresh perspective when you return to them. And then, last but certainly not least, and we'll go into more detail on this in a minute, go to the Writing Center for revision support after you craft a draft. You should also think about visiting your professor in office hours. So, here are a couple methods for breaking the block. You have writer's block, now what? It's great to know what to do in the future, but what do you do right now with your writer's block? We have 6 suggestions for you. You can use these methods on your own or with a tutor. We also have a handout that goes into much more detail on each on our Kenyon homepage. So if you just type Kenyon College Writing Center into Google or into our Kenyon College search bar, it'll show up right away. First option is matrices. Create a table. The columns represent topics, the rows represent examples of those topics. So things like keywords, quotes, citations, sentences, and phrases that support your points. You can also try listing. Talk about your assignment, listing ideas and concepts that interest you as you go. This is where talk to text might be really helpful. Mapping is another big one. You might have done this in grade school or high school where you're sort of creating a web of ideas. Write down keywords, adding to them other concepts, making links between ideas that you can literally represent with drawn lines. HDWDWW. This is sort of the 6 who, what, where, when, why, how questions. Asking yourself who does who do what and why. How does who do what and why? See, try saying that 5 times fast. Asking yourself about the key players or concepts or themes and their actions or effects in a given assignment. Free writing is another option. You can write without stopping for 5 to 10 minutes on your topic. This can be really great for just starting to generate some raw ideas. And then last but certainly not least is double entry listing. This method is great for compare and contrast or argument essays. In the right column, list major points. In the left, list opposing or additional support points. 4, as promised, visit a writing center tutor. Our tutors are trained in writing in a variety of disciplines, come from a host of lived experiences, and are very eager to help you. They can help you at any stage of your writing process, from outlining to drafting to revision. Tutors enjoy helping with writing in a variety of ways: academic writing, writing you do for a class, presentations, speeches, papers, writing you're doing for fun, publication writing, and writing you're doing for job or grad school or internship applications. You can meet with a tutor online or in person in Chalmers Library on the second floor between rooms 210 and 216. Last but certainly not least, use your professor's office hours. This time is specifically set aside for you to come, get to know your professor, and ask questions you have about class or the assignments. Come with a good idea of what you want to ask about and or where you need their help or support. Be specific, have your materials ready, like a draft of your paper, and try to stay focused on where your concerns lie. Bring a pen, pencil, or laptop to take notes, and feel free to ask follow-up questions. However, respect that others may need to meet with your professor too, and don't monopolize or hog all of the professor's time. Make sure you're sharing their wisdom. Questions? You can find us in the Writing Center in Chalmers Library between rooms 216 and 210, or you can email me, Professor Anna Scanlon, she, her, at scanlon1@kenyon.edu. We're happy to help. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you stop by the Writing Center soon. Take care.